kids head back into the classroom, rising coronavirus numbers are becoming a major concern. We're talking all things kids and COVID tonight at 5.
Despite the cool temperatures of the last couple of mornings, summer's not over yet, and I'm tracking some warm weather for the holiday weekend.
And Spokane housing prices are soaring, but how high is too high? Find out where the city ranks among overvalued markets in the U.S. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us here for Krem2 News at 5. I'm Whitney Ward. Mark is off tonight. We begin with a dire warning from one of North Idaho's top pediatricians. Unless the school districts or other local leaders can make some big changes, they say kids going back to school in the Panhandle are at serious risk of not only catching COVID, but of being hospitalized because of it. And to make matters worse, there simply isn't a bed or staff to properly treat them. Our Casey Decker spoke with one of the top doctors in the Panhandle tonight. Casey, what did she have to say?
Well, Dr. Carroll is the director of medical pediatrics at Kootenai Health, and she says data from other districts in the country tells us a frightening story that even though most kids did okay with previous variants of the coronavirus, this Delta variant is different. A significant portion of kids are not eligible for that vaccine, and of those who are eligible, less than 40% are actually vaccinated. That leaves thousands of kids vulnerable, and based on current data, Dr. Carroll says 200 or more kids could end up in the hospital with COVID just from the Coeur d'Alene School District alone, and of those, about 60 might end up in the ICU. But Kootenai Health doesn't have a pediatric ICU, and the number of beds and staffing is severely limited.
The current information is about a third of these kids that are managing to get admitted need an intensive care bed space, and they need that higher level. Gosh forbid, they might even need mechanical ventilation to keep their lungs, expanding and breathing, because these are some rough viruses. With that in mind, you then look around the region and there's just not 60 beds to care for even our school district, much less our surrounding neighbors. So it's a real problem.
Does that mean there could be a scenario where doctors are having to triage children in a sense and decide who gets a ventilator and who doesn't?
You're absolutely right. And that's our worst nightmare. And that's why our team is preparing so rigorously, because we don't have a pediatric intensive care unit, but we recognize when someone's child is struggling and you need to step in, there's a great chance that our team is going to have to then intubate and ventilate a child without a PICU, and then be able to hopefully transfer them to another facility that does. And there are some, but we just talked about there's not enough beds.
And the thing is, that nightmare scenario is preventable. It can be prevented with the vaccine in those who are eligible, and the threat can be significantly mitigated by wearing masks. And social distancing, ventilation, hand washing, staying home when sick, all also important tools. The thing is, North Idaho school districts are essentially doing none of those things. That's why Dr. Carroll says that even though she understands people are tired of these protocols, it's time for local leaders to step up. She and dozens of other experts sent a letter to the school board calling on them to issue new policies to protect kids and prevent that nightmare scenario. Whitney.
All right, Casey, thank you very much. And we know not everyone supports the Washington state COVID vaccine mandate, but not everyone who declines the vaccine is necessarily going against public health mandates. Exemptions include medical, disability-related, and religious reasons. So a representative for Christian Scientists across the state told our Seattle sister station the church doesn't dictate whether or not to get the vaccine. They say it is an individual's choice. Other denominations that focus on faith healing include Faith Tabernacle, the Church of the Firstborn, and Faith Assembly. That's according to a compilation by the Vanderbilt University Medical Center. Most religions do not have an objection to the vaccine. The Vatican, for example, recently declared that it is morally acceptable for Catholics to receive the COVID vaccine. And leaders of the Mormon Church also came out with a strong statement just last month urging people to get the shot. Public health officials consistently say the vaccine is the most effective way to protect yourself from COVID and also to prevent new variants from popping up and to avoid infecting children who cannot yet be vaccinated. Today, students in Spokane Public Schools headed back to class for the first day of school, and many safety protocols like masks and social distancing will still be in place. That's for students and staff. Spokane, by the way, is the second largest district in the state. 30,000 students are enrolled. SPS Superintendent Dr. Adam Swinyard spoke to Krem this morning about just how important it is for high school kids to return to full-time in-person learning this year.
Yeah, well, certainly being in person with our kids is important, and the relationships, the connections, the access to services and supports, and that opportunity to learn together with others, and the organic nature that allows.
So today, SPS opened up 2 brand new middle schools as well, and we'll take you inside a brand new Glover and Shaw Middle Schools coming up on Krem2 News at 6. In the meantime, certainly an exciting day for students and for parents, and especially for the 5 new principals at Spokane area high schools. Krem2's Tim Pham introduces us now to those new administrators.
It's not uncommon for there to be new principals each school year, but this is actually the first time ever in Spokane Public School history that all 5 Spokane high schools have brand new principals.
Hi, my name is John Odell. I'm the new principal at Ferris High School.
Odell comes from a long line of teachers. His grandmother's grandfather was actually a teacher.
To know that your care and your refusing to give up on them and helping them not give up on themselves and working with their families.
Hi, my name is Ivan Corley, and I'm the new principal at Lewis and Clark High School.
Mr. Corley has spent nearly 3 decades with SPS. He grew up in Tacoma and later attended Eastern Washington University.
Our high school students are coming back to full-time in-person learning, and that's going to be a transition for them. That's going to be an adjustment.
Hi, my name is Chris Dunn. I'm the principal at Shadle Park High School.
Northwest Spokane is home for Mr. Dunn.
I grew up here. I actually went to Indian Trail, Salk, and then Shadle, and I graduated from Shadle.
Education is in the DNA of his family. His wife, mom, dad, and all 4 grandparents are educators.
When you see it click for a kid, or when you see a situation get better for a kid, or when you see them find their space where they really feel like they belong and like they matter, there's not a greater experience in the world.
Hello, my name is John Hamill, the new principal at John R. Rogers High School.
Students at Rogers already know Mr. Hamill. He was their assistant principal. He's worked in 4 states and has been with SPS for a decade. He knows educators can change the outcomes in the lives of their students.
I decided to go into education for the love of working with people and really making a difference with especially kids of poverty. Most of my experience has been with schools of poverty.
And they have made a difference. Rogers' class of 2021 had a graduation rate of 90%, which was one of the highest in the school district.
Hello, I'm Tammy McCracken, and I'm the new principal at North Central High School.
For the last 5 years, Miss McCracken has been the North Central assistant principal and has been with SPS for almost 20 years. Being an educator has always been a passion for her.
I always knew I wanted to be a teacher, really, since I was in 3rd grade. Even in high school, I remember people saying, oh, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that. And I'm like, I want to be a teacher.
She never forgets each one of her students are someone's child and wants the best for each one of them. The school has been without a mascot until recently they became the Wolfpack.
So we have this great opportunity to brand ourselves around that idea of a sense of our strength is in the pack.
Now, those were obviously just short snippets of each of those principles. If you want to watch the full videos, just head on over to my Twitter page, Up with Tim. Reporting in Spokane, I'm Tim Pham, Krem2 News.
Thank you much, Tim. And we know that you at home probably have a ton of questions about this school year and what it's going to look like in the middle of this ongoing pandemic. So we are committed to making sure that you can navigate any changes that come your way. For a link to our back to school article and the entire section on our website devoted to back to school, just text the word class to 509-448-2000 and we'll send it right to your phone. Certainly a gorgeous day for all those kiddos to head back to school. It really did feel more like summer weather. I know a lot of them were pretty excited to still be wearing shorts. Let's turn to Michelle now as we talk about more summer-like weather in the forecast, right?
Yeah. Oh, they would wear shorts even if it was 30
True,
degrees.
they do that. I don't know why, but they do.
It was certainly appropriate today to be wearing shorts outside. Great weather for recess, for the walk to school, for the walk home from school, and beautiful weather out there right now. Temperatures in the mid-70s and some 80s out there across central Washington. 81 71 in Grand Coulee. Here in Spokane and Coeur d'Alene, checking in at 74 degrees, upper 70s in Lewiston. Hardly a cloud in the sky, just a few daytime cumulus clouds in far northeastern Washington and the northern panhandle. Those will likely dissipate during the evening hours. The next 12 hours looking nice. Of course, sunset now before 7:30, but we will enjoy mostly clear skies this evening. Temperatures pretty mild through 7 o'clock in the lower 70s, and then slipping down into the 50s and 60s overnight. Not quite as chilly tomorrow morning. It'll be warmer tomorrow afternoon. We're looking at sunny skies, highs in the upper 70s. We expect light winds for tomorrow and this upcoming holiday weekend. Looking fabulous. A little bit on the warm side, though. Temperatures more summer-like on Saturday. Looking at partly cloudy skies and 83 degrees, and on Sunday, warming up to 85.
A lot of people with outdoor plans will be happy about that, Michelle. Thank you so much. All right, before we head to break, we do have some breaking news to tell you about. One person has been shot in downtown Spokane. This is at Riverside and Howard. So take a look at the map. It's right near the STA Plaza. According to SPD, the victim has been taken to the hospital, we're told, with non-life-threatening injuries. Officers are now searching for a suspect. They do not have any roads closed at this time, so traffic does remain normal. But this is still a developing story. We'll make sure to get you the latest information just as soon as we can. In the meantime, still to come here on Krem2 News at 5 tonight, Spokane's hottest housing market title now turning into one of the most overpriced markets in the country. We'll explain what that next as part of our Boomtown coverage. We're back after the break.